Well, we broke the news on AgWeb in late March. A mystery illness that was impacting dairy herds in the Texas Panhandle, New Mexico, and Kansas had a diagnosis: highly pathogenic avian influenza. And USDA confirmed genetic sequencing revealed it was the same strain of HPAI that's been in the U.S. for 2 years. But it marked the first time the disease was in dairy cattle. That outbreak has now grown, impacting dairy cattle in 16 states. The latest state to see widespread outbreaks is California. But as Michelle Rook told us back in June, the outbreak still left the industry puzzled with a number of questions as H5N1 continued to spread.
The percentage of dairy cows that have died from H5N1 is small. However, animal health officials in South Dakota confirm a 1,700 head dairy culled a dozen animals that didn't recover from the virus and another dozen that contracted secondary infections after the flu weakened their immune system.
Some herds have been reporting that, and that's resulted in some culling or maybe even some death losses in some cases. And it's hard to put a percentage and a number on that.
However, Daly once again stressed that the dairy cows aren't directly dying from H5N1.
The flu itself is not killing the animals, but it's the problems that happen because of the flu that I mentioned earlier, the secondary pneumonias, the digestive problems, those other infections.
In fact, the large majority of herds are reporting infected lactating dairy cows experience a fever, lost appetite, and a drop in milk production, but then quickly recover.
That is one thing that is amazing. I mean, it's kind of like you and I getting the flu. 2-3 days, we don't feel quite right, but a few days later, we're back into the milking string. We're back out in the barn with all the other cows and producing milk.
It does seem like after they get through it, they'll see a 10 to 20% loss of milk production when it's in their herd. But once they get through it, things start to come back to normal.
So while HPAI is having an economic impact on herds, they're not concerned the illness will reach pandemic levels.
Thanks, Michelle. Well, what is Chip Flory's biggest takeaway from 2024? Chip joins us for Chip's Corner next.